Hey friends, sorry I'm 2 minutes late. I couldn't find my phone. It's just, it feels like Monday and it's Wednesday. That's not right. Let me just make sure I'm up here where I should be. How's everybody doing? Hi guys. Facebook. Okay. Thanks for joining. Let me just make sure I'm up. Hang on. All right, if you're in Facebook land, say hi. So I thought I would start off a little differently tonight. Hi, Kathy. I love doing these shows in which I get to join my friends on the camera here a couple times a week. During this season, it helps me feel a little bit less siloed, if you will. So if you're one of those gals or guys that just wants to get right to the details, just give me a few minutes. I just want to say hi to my friends, and then hi Becky, then we will get to our business at hand. So it is raining today in Seattle. That's not okay for the end of July. My daughter said, I'm so glad it's raining because I actually got to put pants on today, like instead of shorts or something. And I'm like, it's fine. Hey, Mom. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Nancy. Okay, so you're probably wondering what I'm doing, because tonight is normally my Boss Babe Shop Talk that I invite a friend, a colleague, someone from my industry or a talented end user, another lady that works predominantly in quilting or sewing or fabric onto a show, and we interview each other for a half hour. I decided I was going to do something different for a few weeks. It's getting harder with everybody's schedule and being with the summer and vacations and everything to get people to have time to join me. So I'm going to pick this back up in the fall. Rhonda says, it's raining in Texas too. Well, now I don't feel so bad. But so anyway, what I decided to do for the next season, and when I mean hybrid, hi Whitney, when I mean by 2 inches of rain in Kentucky, Debbie, yikes. What I've decided to do is to encourage everybody to do a project alongside of me. So Mondays I do an Ask the Doctor, so I answer people's questions regarding troubleshooting with their featherweights, and on Wednesdays I was having an interview, and Friday is my sip and sew. Friday is not going to change. I don't want to change the format of Friday. It's like one of my favorite things I do during the week. I basically grab a glass of wine, I grab a featherweight and whatever project I'm working on, and the girls and I chat. So we're not changing Fridays around, but I want Wednesdays to be more instructional, if that makes sense. And I want some of you all who have ever used your featherweights for piecing to get a more hands-on understanding of how robust these little machines are. Speaking of robust, I'm sure you guys saw the picture that I posted earlier in the week of the machine that looks like it was stored in a mud puddle. It wasn't stored in a mud puddle. It was a shed that had no ventilation in it, and I think it was in there for a few decades. It literally had the exact belt that it left the Singer factory with. So I was having a hard week this week, and I decided I needed a win, and so I started disassembling. We're calling her Bessie. And sure enough, Bessie roared to life yesterday. I could not believe it. I would have bet a child, like my favorite child, that Bessie was never going to be anything more than a parts machine, helping to keep other people's machines and, with parts and pieces and all that fun stuff. A lot of people don't know this, but every screw on the featherweight is proprietary and not made anymore. There are some that have been like like replicas, like reproductions that have been made, some of the more common ones, but some of those screws you literally can't buy. So anyway, that was my original intention when I saw her for $15. But the fact that I got her to sew was just exactly what I needed yesterday. So let's talk about the sew along. Has anybody ever done a sew along? I mean, obviously not with me, but because this is my first one that I'm bringing to my national audience. But this one you can do with any sewing machine. It's not going to be specific to the featherweight, but I would encourage you, since it's a quilt as you go, and the most you're working on is a little 9-inch sandwich, quilt sandwich at a time, to see what your featherweight can do. If you don't like how it's turning out, then go to your modern machine. But if you have a featherweight, pull her out. Let's do this together on our old-fashioned machines. Hi Judith, thanks for joining us. Okay, so I came up with this idea last night. I know what you're thinking. I'm a crazy lady. You're probably right. It's called Arizona Sky. And ironically, Darlene's brain back in May of 2018 was already thinking forward to July of 2020. And so this was actually a project. Great, Rhonda says, I love them, so alongside. So this was actually a project that I started. Kathy and sewing machine technician Dan said, I thought I was the best part of your day. You are, Kathy, you are. Anyway, so this is going to be broken up into more than a few weeks. It could be as many as 16 weeks. If you miss a show, or for some reason, like take a vacation, I know we have a vacation coming up mid-August, and I miss a week and I don't have time to pre-record it, all of the videos will be available on Instagram, IGTV, or on my Facebook feed, and I will label them by week 1, week 2, week 3. So it'll be so long with a featherweight doctor, week 1, etc. So you'll be able to go back and catch up if you miss us a week. Oh, Malad, is it Malad, Idaho? It's sprinkling. I guess the whole country's getting it. So my pattern that I've written is called Arizona Sky, and I'm going to give you guys just the overall view of it. You can see that there's some setting squares in here. These little 4 patches are what I'm calling setting squares, and then the open blocks are what I'm calling our sampler blocks. So each week you will do a sampler block and a setting block in order to keep up. We're going to get through this in 16 weeks. So this is what it's called, Arizona Sky, and this is approximately what it will look like. All right, Lisa Lazaro says, it sounds fun. It will be fun. Each week I'm going to post on our blog. I think I'm going to run it under the blog on our Featherweight Doctor site. There'll be some printed instructions for cutting and assembling your blocks and some suggested ideas for the quilting pattern. I realize everybody on this page right now has varying degrees of skill set when it comes to what you're comfortable with quilting. So if the quilting instructions that I encourage you to use are beyond your skill set, then make it simple. Keep it simple, stitch it in the niche, whatever you want to do. You are the queen of your own quilting universe, and I am not one to tell you what to do. So that is on the quilting part is up to you. I will make suggestions on the show every Whitney Bruce, you know me so well. We are not, well, actually that's not totally true. She wants to know which Tula Pink line we are using. Okay, so if I'm being totally transparent, I picked a Tula Pink fabric for the backing, but we're not using it on the front. Crack me up. So, all right, focus, Darlene. Whitney, she just put me off topic. Okay, so again, you can use any sewing machine. The downloadable printed instructions will be available on Monday, so you have time to do your cutout between Monday and Wednesday. And then I, on the show, will do the assembly of the block and the quilting all during because I'm usually on for an hour anyway with my shop talk. Don't worry, Becky, I got you. She said super beginner here. Don't worry. I got you. So I'm going to ask for some grace from everybody. I am a designer and I do write patterns, but it isn't really where my strength lies. So I want everybody's grace when it comes to the pattern. I will make sure to try and fabric test and have some guinea pigs. That's right, Mom and Denise, you guys will be my guinea pigs, to make sure that the pattern reads well and that everybody can follow it before I put it out to you. So during the Wednesday, I'm gonna have my fabric already cut. I will do the block construction and give you the suggested quilting instructions. So it's 16 setting squares and 20 sampler blocks. I'm gonna have you do a setting block and a sampler block each week to try and stay on course. No paper piecing. We are not doing any paper piecing. I do not care for paper piecing. I know how to do paper piecing, but it kills it for me. So we are not doing any paper piecing. It'll be simple, piecing instructions. We're not getting complicated. There will be some applique, and I'm going to let you guys decide what type of applique method you want to use. You can use raw edge, you can use the needle turn, you can do the fusible. It will be on you to figure out what kind of applique you're going to use. Because of that, there will be some templates to download along with the written instructions off of the blog. So for instance, one of the blocks, every block has a theme, a city name theme from Arizona, because we lived there for several years. So for instance, Payson, Arizona, which is one of the months. I don't have everything broken up yet into what we're doing first. Payson is known as the heart of Arizona. So the block symbolizing Payson literally has a heart on it. See? Really simple blocks. Don't worry. I gotcha. So that, I just want everybody to know there will be applique. So because of that, you do want to have some template plastic lying around your studio. You also will find it beneficial, regardless of what sewing machine that you are using, to have walking feet, having a walking foot for the straight quilting, or if you have a FOF and you want to use your IDT, that's totally fine. You'll want a darning foot, which is for free motion. If you want to try to attempt free motion on a small setting, that is not that big of a deal. If you have the FOF, or not the FOF, the Bernina BSR, which is the Bernina Stitch Regulator, totally fine. You can use that. You can use whatever makes you happy, because this is about making you happy and getting you sewing. And then you'll also want the 1/4 inch foot for your whatever sewing machine you're going to use, because we'll be piecing together the blocks initially. So, SEW. Fabric. What are we going to do for fabric? So, Bridget, who also lives in Arizona, wants to know if I have one called Rimrock. I don't, but I do have one from Sedona, which is called, sorry guys, Bell Rock. Is that close enough for you, my dear? There's Bell Rock's pattern. So there you go. Darlene, can I ask a question about my feather weight? She has some sort of an issue. Rhonda, yes, just let me get through. Go ahead and ask your question on Facebook, and then I'll answer it as soon as I'm done running through what the fabric requirements are going to look like. I love to help. Okay, so on the front of this, you'll notice that the pattern is predominantly a background or a white. So I just had some fabric lying around, you know, in my stash, which is just a plain white. Actually, it has some dots on it. Do you guys see that? It has some subtle reed solid, but so this is the white I'm going to use in my background. I have 2 yards of this. It should be enough. I don't have the fabric requirements quite yet. Again, I wrote this last night. And then for the colors in here, I thought it would be fun to use the ombre fabrics, the color gradation fabrics. So I bought a long time ago, I bought a fat quarter of all of these different ombre fabrics. And what I mean by ombre fabric is within the cut of fabric, it goes from light to dark. So this is the fabric I'm using on the colored parts of the blocks here, and I have stacks. So ladies, if you just want to use this as a skill building mini class, if you will, then just pick stuff out of your stash. Nothing is going to be of any great size or quantity. If you want consistency, then you might want to pick up a couple yards of the background fabric. If you want to keep it inexpensive, use muslin. It doesn't have to be, you know, high-end fabric. And then you do need approximately 2 1/4. I bought 2 1/2 yards of my backing fabric because we're going to be quilting as you go. We need to have our backing fabric ready to go right from the get-go because we'll be constructing the blocks and then quilting them at the same time. So you don't have to use a tulle of fabric, but Whitney and I will be using a tulle of fabric. All right, so that is the specifications to join. There is no cost. I'm not charging anybody anything. I do have a local class running once COVID lets up on another Quilt As You Go quilt called Ombre Sunset. This is my introduction. This is my free introduction to have everybody join me on one of these and see if you like how I roll, and if you are learning things and trying new things that you wouldn't normally have done, then I will probably invite everybody to join me on my next Quilt As You Go adventure. But let's start here. So just to again review, this quilt, these blocks are about 8 inches finished. It will be it's a 6 by 6, so approximately a 48-inch finished quilt. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I mean, this is going to be fun. And I hope you guys, if you have any questions or concerns, you can email into the shop at info@featherweightdoctor.com. If you have any helpful suggestions, I'm all ears. I'd love to take helpful suggestions. And if you need, hi, Missy Fisher. She says, hi there, love it. Quilt As You Go. Yes, ma'am. On our featherweights. We're going to do it. If you need any of the items that I talked about, that would be helpful for your featherweight, the walking foot, the darning foot, the 1/4-inch piecing foot. They're all available on our website, featherweightdoctor.com. If you haven't already, check your email. If you're on our newsletter mailing list, I sent out a little flag today that I posted a new blog post. I thought I would introduce Bessie to you since she was the star of the blog post. Look at her. She's sewing, you guys. She's sewing. Her light works. I couldn't believe it yesterday. I literally worked on, was it yesterday or the day before? I worked on it all day long. When the light came on immediately, I thought, oh, there's hope. And then the motor, which was totally seized when I picked her up, roared to life. And I thought, this gal wants to sew. She wants to run. All right, so Sue's, wow. Sue's from Wisconsin. Wow, yes, you're live. All right. All right, guys. So that's what we're going to do for a while. Is everybody excited? I know I am. Next week we'll start. So this is just your introduction. If you didn't get all that written down, you can watch it over again. Again, this video will live as the Quilt As You Go Sew Along intro video on Facebook and Instagram for a long time. So you can still have an opportunity to go back and write down the stuff. You guys are pretty awesome. Friday is going to be kind of weird. I think I have my my sip and sew, but I'm probably going to be in the car when it's going on. So I'm going to bring my English paper piecing project again. And so assuming I have good connectivity, my husband and I are taking kind of a last minute road trip down to Reno, Nevada. And so I need to be in the car at that time. So I hope you guys can come back and join me at 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on Friday. I'll put out a note if for some reason I'm just not going to have connectivity to be able to join my friends. But go ahead and like this video and feel free to share it to your quilting friends if they would find it informative. And again, there's no cap on anybody joining this sew along. Anybody can join us and it's free. And I'd love to have the more the merrier. So I hope everybody has a good night. And I guess I'm signing off from Kirkland/Redmond, Washington. We'll talk to you.